Okay.
Dorothy Shannon.
Yes, Joan.
How old are we today, Dorothy?
I am 76 plus.
And that's really old.
Yes, it is. It goes back to a little town in 1929.
There we go.
Yeah, I was born in Corona in a little tiny house that I don't think is there anymore. The doctor came and delivered me, and Mother had a nurse there for 2 weeks to help out. She could have done that or gone to the hospital, but she would only been there 10 days, and so she wanted some more help. We lived in about 3 different houses on that street, and then we moved up to Sheridan Street in Corona. And this house I remember very clearly. We had our icebox on the back porch, and ice was delivered probably twice a week. I don't remember exactly. But there were also the bakery man came by, the dairy man came by, the ice cream man came by, the vegetable man came by, and a lot of people bought everything they needed that way. We didn't, because my dad managed the grocery store and he brought everything home from there that we needed. But I do remember all these people going by.
Your mother lived in Corona, and I lived in Norco, and I really envied the kids that lived in Corona because they didn't have to milk the cow, chop the wood, kill whatever for Sunday dinner. I mean, that would have been huge to me, not to have to do that. So I was kind of envious.
You had a phone.
No.
No phone.
We didn't have a phone until Mother was expecting Larry,
Okay.
and my dad thought we needed one then in case she needed to call him at the store. But we didn't. A lot of people did, but we didn't.
And that just wasn't seen as a necessity?
Not for my dad.
So when you did finally get a phone in 1941?
41, yeah.
Okay. The kind where you have to ask the operator to
Oh, yes.
call a certain
yes.
number.
And we were on a party line, which meant you could pick up the phone and somebody else could be talking. My number was 374J. I'll never forget that.
That's a little scary that you know that. And you had one car.
Oh, yes, one car. My mother took my dad to work one day a month so she could go out and pay the bills in person. They didn't mail them in. I don't know why, whether it wasn't done or whether he just wanted her to do it that way. During this time, this was during the Depression, which was really, really bad. I don't think people realize how bad it was. A lot of people did not have jobs. We were lucky. My dad had a job all the time. But there would be hobos coming around. I remember my mother fixing a plate for the hobo to eat out in the backyard or on the back step. This would happen fairly often. I don't remember how often, but it was pretty bad. Well, I went to school. I went to Jefferson School, which looked huge to me then. When I went back and substitute at it, it looked very, very small. But I went there for 3 years, I think, 2 years, I guess, and then was transferred over to Lincoln School, where I met a lot of the kids that are still friends today.
Was it okay at that time for the teacher to spank kids and things like that?
I don't remember anybody spanking anybody. They were sent to the principal. One substitute duct taped this kid to his chair one time, and I don't think she got into trouble for it.
Of course not.
And then I went up to junior high. This was when the war started, about when I entered junior high. The Second World War.
1930.
Well, 41 is
41,
when,
okay.
yeah, it's when we got into it.
Okay.
And this was our entire life. We bought savings bonds, we bought stamps and saved them in booklets and traded them in for bonds. And we had scrap metal drives, and it was, nothing was built, you know. We were in portable buildings, and coffee was rationed, sugar was rationed. Shoes were rationed. Where we had zippers before, even, we had buttons, or even on underwear, we, fastened with buttons instead of elastic. We met in junior high at some point, I don't remember just when. He took me to the 9th grade banquet, which was the end of junior high.
What a guy.
Yeah. And we dated most of the time through high school. I think maybe we were mad at each other at one point or something, maybe didn't, but, and then he went to Chaffey College and I went to Santa Barbara, and then eventually he went overseas, joined the Navy and went overseas. And then we were married in 1952.
Grandpa was gone. You got married, and then Grandpa went away.
Yeah,
And
I
this
was
is-
teaching in San Diego.
And he was gone for a year.
No, it wasn't a year. From what, November to May or June, or October to,
Yeah.
it was several months anyway, yeah. I drive up about every other weekend home and went to movies and, you know.
How long had you been married when he went away?
We were just married in July and he left that October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I enlisted for 4 and got out about 3 months early because the war was over and they were letting people out early. And so I got out and by that time, Dorothy and I were married and had a, Kathy was there. And so it was time for me to go back to school and apply myself because I had a family.
So as a mother back then, mother of 5, and there were
Yes.
no disposable diapers.
Oh no,
And there
well,
was no-
I guess there were eventually, but we couldn't afford them.
And there were no clothes dryers, as I recall.
There were, again, we couldn't afford one.
Yeah.
So I remember, well, I'm sure Bill remembers too, when John and Dave had colic for 3 months and we'd sit up at night and the first one that got their kid down hung up the last load of clothes on the line. And I also remember when Rob was finally potty trained, I don't know how many times I started out to get the clothes off the line and there weren't any, which was a first in several years.
Okay, all right. Well, time for Grandpa. Thank you,
Okay.
Grandma.
You're welcome.
This lady directly opposite to me has probably seen more T-ball games, flag football games, soccer games, basketball games, track meets, cross-country meets, track meets. Have I left anything?
Theater
Theater. Theater. We're speaking. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wineries.
I don't, and has sent more boxes of Kitchen Delights than any grandmother that probably exists in the United States. So, anyway, I want a standing O for